Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Saturday's edition of the DCEU Daily. And don't forget to stay right to the end of the video for my Kenobi reaction. But finally, in terms of DC, we have an official announcement from The Rock on his Instagram about a Black Adam trailer. Yes. Really excited to see that on June the 8th. Shall we get the details? Yes, let's. Black Adam trailer release date revealed by Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson announces the world premiere of the first official Black Adam trailer, just in time to play in theatres this summer's movie season, by Richard Think of Screen Rant. Dwayne Johnson has revealed when the first official trailer for Black Adam will be released, a spin-off of the film Shazam and the latest entry in the DCEU. Black Adam will see Johnson star as the famous DC villain and anti-hero. The movie is set to feature the introduction of the Justice Society of America into the DCEU with a number of exciting characters like Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone and Atom Smasher. Black Adam has undergone a number of release delays due to COVID-19 and other factors. While it was originally set to open in theatres on July the 29th, 2022, a delay in VFX work on the film pushed Black Adam back to October 21st, 2022. Right, only going to say it once, I've said it so many times, that's a lie, that's not true. And Johnson's other DC superhero project, the animated DC League of Super Pets, took that July release date, while brief glimpses of the movie have been teased at DC Fandom and the 2022 DC theatrical trailer. No official trailer for the film has been released. The wait is almost over as Johnson took to Instagram to inform fans when the first trailer for Black Adam would premiere. Johnson announced the world premiere trailer drop would be on June the 8th, 2022. He also released a new behind-the-scenes image of the film hinting that they've just filmed the moment where the character sits on the throne, with Johnson calling it the iconic moment. See the image and original post below. So this is a picture of him sitting on the stairs, and he explains what he was doing sitting on the stairs. So it looks great, doesn't he, in his costume? The throne of Black Adam. For the millions of you who know the Black Adam mythology, you understand the meaning and power of this throne. I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't sit on it until we shot the actual scene where Black Adam has earned his right to take his sacred place on high. His throne is a big deal, so I always just sat my big ass at the steps and did my homework. We finally filmed the iconic moment, and what a moment it was. World premiere of the Black Adam trailer drops June the 8th. Hashtag on set, hashtag on the throne, hashtag the man in black, hashtag Black Adam. June the 8th, 2022 lands on a Wednesday, the day before the first preview screenings of Jurassic World. Dominion is set to begin. Warner Brothers likely wants a trailer for Black Adam attached to the highly anticipated dinosaur film, which is expected to score the biggest opening weekend of 2022. Warner Brothers can play the trailer in front of many highly anticipated summer blockbusters like Thor: Love and Thunder to help generate excitement amongst mainstream audiences who have not heard of the character before. While no word yet on it if DC will bring any of their films to San Diego Comic-Con 2022, which is scheduled for July 21st to July 24th, if they do, there is a chance Warner Brothers will bring either another trailer or an extended scene of Black Adam for attendees. With a late October release date, there will be plenty of time for Warner Brothers to increase the marketing for the film, with a second trailer likely to arrive in August or September. With Shazam: Fury of the Gods set for release just 2 months after Black Adam and the two characters' close associations, it will be interesting to see if Warner Brothers plays up their connection in the marketing and how the two projects will impact one another, if they impact one another. So that's the information we have got. So I do believe that Black Adam and Shazam: Fury of the Gods will be going to San Diego Comic-Con 2022. This will be the first time people can go there physically since the COVID pandemic. And the San Diego event, which is used to be the biggest in the geek calendar, hasn't done very well, mainly because WB and DC did this whole DC fandom thing, and Disney were doing their own thing, and Marvel Studios were doing their own things, and not many people were actually attending it during the peak of the COVID pandemic. But I do expect lots of people to be there, and I do expect WB and DC to want to take Black Adam and Shazam there. I have nothing to tell, there's no reason for me to think that Black Adam and Shazam Fury of the Gods are not great movies. These movies are not the issue, because that's why they were pushed forward. Or in Black Adam's case, it was pushed back, but Shazam was brought forward. These are unproblematic, probably really good, epic movies that we're all going to enjoy. The problem at the moment is the Flash movie and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Will they survive? Will we see them? Those movies are in very huge doubt right now. We may, well, you may never see these movies, that's for sure. But it looks like, going to fingers crossed, because you never know with this studio, but it looks like we will see Black Adam, yay, because that's going to be an epic movie, and Shazam, Fury of the Gods. And I think what's going to happen here with the future of this franchise is this: whatever works stays, whatever doesn't work doesn't stay. So it's very interesting what will happen with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, because the first movie made $1 billion. That interests David Zaslav. The Joker movie making over $1 billion interests David Zaslav. So pretty much whatever works and makes bank stays. So it's very important for Black Adam and Shazam Fury of the Gods to make a lot of money. I don't expect Shazam 2 to make anywhere near $1 billion, but funnier things have happened. We'll have to wait and see. And it's only 5 days after the release of Ways of the Water, you know, the Avatar sequel. That's very problematic. Will they change the date for that movie? I have no idea. Shazam Fury of the Gods is ready to go. That should have replaced Black Adam in the summer, if that's what they wanted to do. I have no idea. But anyway, we're going to see these movies, and I'm looking forward to a full extended trailer for the Black Adam movie. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I don't blame WB for wanting to delay the trailer till the summer. You know, having it, you know, during showings of the latest Jurassic World movie and For Love and Thunder and big summer picks like that is a very, very good idea. So at least we get to see this trailer, and we get to see those two movies at the very least. Then finally, I think after those movies, and they can gauge what works and what doesn't, then we'll get the announcements from Zaslav and Discovery about the future of the DC Extended Universe, and it's going to be very different. Zaslav likes Man of Steel. Zaslav likes Batman vs. Superman. Zaslav likes Wonder Woman, right? He likes the Snyder Cut. He likes films that are good and successful and epic. So he will keep what works, and he'll bin what doesn't. And now for my reaction and response of the first 2 episodes of Kenobi. I love the prequels, but there's a part of me that's always wished we just stuck with the original trilogy and just, you know, grabbed hold of our nostalgia whenever we wanted to watch them, rather than carrying on, telling a story, milking the cow. But this is Hollywood. I love the prequels, and I like what George Lucas was attempting to do with the prequels. Tell the story of the rise of a dictator and how a dictator is manipulated by an even badder dictator. It's a really fabulous story, and the finesse that George Lucas takes in building the prequel movies up is fantastic, and it works for me. Anyway, what do I think of Kenobi episodes 1 and 2? Right, should we start with the positive? Ewan McGregor does his best. He does amazing. He really does sell that he's a scared, lonely person who feels responsible for the rise of the dark side of the Force and the Sith. You see him going to work at a meat packing plant, stealing some meat for the animal every day so he can ride said animal. He lives in a cave. It makes sense that he's afraid to leave that cave and leave that routine that he's got, because I'll remind you of what he said to Anakin as they were fighting at Mustafar. I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you. So that is what's on his mind. He feels he failed Anakin, but he's the only person who didn't fail. It was Qui-Gon who failed in being obsessed with Anakin as a boy and insisting Obi-Wan trained him as he was dying. All this really is on Qui-Gon and the Jedi, because Obi-Wan was always suspicious of Anakin and felt uneasy around him. Even in the second movie, the prequel movie, Attack of the Clones, you can tell he can tell there's something not right here. He doesn't really want to leave his side. He doesn't trust him with Padme. It's obvious that this Jedi, this wise Jedi, and as Qui-Gon said, you are a much wiser Jedi than I'll ever be, and that's fucking true, Qui-Gon, because you were a great Jedi in terms of fighting, but in terms of instinct, you weren't a very good Jedi, and you led the universe to this darkness because basically you believed in a false prophet. Now, the kid, it's not the kid's fault. The kid was being manipulated by Palpatine all the time. And so it's a real amazing story. So that element of Kenobi is absolutely not, I wouldn't say fantastic, but you can tell. Basically, there's people saying, oh, Obi-Wan's a coward, blah, blah, blah. Well, it makes sense. It makes sense. At this stage, he feels guilty. He feels it's his fault. He's hiding away. And basically, the Jedi are so hunted, he has to hide. He has no choice. So really, apart from Jimmy Smits, that's the only positives I can find from this show. So let's go into the negatives and my issues. First of all, the issue with spinning off a movie franchise into streaming means you lose a big budget, because the budgets for streaming are around 30, 40 million, 50 million at most, if they're really being generous. But you know, you can tell in terms of the budget that Kenobi hasn't got a big budget. For example, you lose your CGI budget with streaming, and that can be a big issue. So I think some of the CGI, or most of the CGI, is okay. It's not terrible, but you can tell this is not a movie budget. Also, let's talk about the Inquisitors. The Inquisitors are an issue for me because you need, when they're in the scene, you need that tension. There is no tension in the scenes with the Inquisitors in. I don't feel in any fear. Yes, I know they're going to kill people, and I know they're dangerous and they're looking for the Jedis, but there's no tension in the scenes. And ultimately, that's down to the director. It's clear that Kathleen Kennedy wanted to, a certain kind of identity to be directing this. But surely there must be a better director of said identity, and that's the problem. The director isn't very good, or maybe she was nervous, I don't know, but she didn't get that intensity. There's another great example, because they give Leia a lot to do in these first two episodes. She speaks a lot, she's with Obi-Wan, she gets kidnapped, there's a lot of banter between them. The banter doesn't work, by the way. Again, it doesn't work, not because of the little actress, because she tries to do the best that she can, because of the director. It fails, and the writing is bad between Leia and Obi-Wan. And of course, if you look at the canon in A New Hope, when, Obi-Wan sees the message and she says, General Kenobi, you served my, father in the wars, blah, blah, blah. It's like she doesn't know him, but they've already met. So can a Jedi kind of mind wipe someone? Does Leia get mind wiped? Maybe she does, and that's the thing. But here's the thing again. Is this woke? Well, let me explain to you what they're doing here. So you get this kind of thing where Obi-Wan's saying, no, I can't go. I've got to watch over the boy, Luke. And so Jimmy Smith's character says, oh, well, Leia is just as important as Luke. Women are just important as men. Do you get it? Hammer over the head! Hammer over the head! Women are just as important as men. We all know Leia is just as important as Luke. But of course, we are in this social justice warrior extreme left era. So what they do is, this is brilliant. Not brilliant for us, but what they do is they give Leia a lot of screen time and a lot of talking, while Luke is muted, sitting there on top of that little thing, that little house thing, pretending he's a fighter pilot. But we don't ever hear anything from Luke. Wouldn't it have been nice if, maybe Luke and old Ben Kenobi shared some dialogue together? Maybe that's to come. So what they've done is they've silenced the little mansplaining on the ultimate Star Wars hero, the hero of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, and given Leia, the brave female princess, her stage. And that's that scene when her cousin's being mouthy and offensive and she takes him down verbally. Again, she's taking down the patriarchy. So let's move on to Reva, the Inquisitor. So Reva is really ambitious and she's obsessed with Kenobi. She wants to be the one to take him to Lord Vader. And she's clearly not a very nice person. She doesn't work in the slightest. I think the acting isn't at a high level. Again, that's not down to the actress, it's down to the director. And she doesn't feel as intimidating as she should. But if you thought Reva is a villain and she's irredeemable, you're wrong. Because a woman of colour can't be a villain now, can she? So what you'll notice is when she kills the main Inquisitor, her boss, the one who talks about her being on the drains, right? That patriarchy, she teaches him a lesson and she kills him with the saber. But when it comes to the Indian actor, the Indian character, who's kind of a con man pretending to be a Jedi and helps Obi-Wan, she doesn't kill him. She reads his mind and she leaves him alive because he's a good person, basically, and he's a minority. And we can't be killing minorities because that means she would be an irredeemable person, and she's not. So in terms of Reva, if that's her name, and I can't remember now, you know who I'm talking about, it's obvious from what Obi-Wan says about the Inquisitors, and I didn't know this, that they were once the Jedi before, the dark side and the Sith rose up and rose to power. So it's clear, once upon a time, she may have been a good person or a child at the Jedi Temple. Maybe eventually, Obi-Wan will recognize her and she will have some kind of sob story. It's your fault, Obi-Wan, that's why I hate you. This happened because of you. And they make up, and apparently, and these are spoilers if you don't want to hear this, go away. But apparently she sacrifices herself in the end to save Luke Skywalker. So isn't it brave and empowering to see a woman of colour saving Luke Skywalker instead of our hero, Obi-Wan Kenobi? Now, Deborah Chow, the director, a director I've already criticised, is saying that Kenobi is a bit like Joker. It's a story about this character. It's a character study. Or does she mean Joker because he's part of toxic masculinity? I don't know what these people are saying anymore. They have so many fictional narratives, they get confused. So ultimately, they're the issues with Kenobi. But there's a bigger issue here, and it's the pacing. This is so boring. It really, I remember watching Empire of Dreams, that awesome kind of documentary they do about Star Wars, the original trilogy. And one of the journalists talking says, it's a lot of fun to watch Star Wars. And I was thinking when I first watched it, I think, yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch Star Wars. It's not a lot of fun watching this. The action isn't shot dynamically. It's not exciting. Even seeing a lightsaber, and I think the lightsabers are one of the greatest creations in fiction. George Lucas is certainly a genius. But what's not genius is the choreography. The choreography and action work, and even seeing a laser gun being shot, isn't exciting. One of the most exciting things I saw as a kid was Han Solo shooting his laser gun at the stormtroopers as they're about to jump into the trash compactor. There's no excitement here. It's not a very well directed first two episodes. I've actually, just before I came on here, a journalist, a critic saying, oh my God, Deborah Chow needs to direct more stuff. I'm good. No, thank you. Now, at the end of the day, I can only call things as I see them. As I've said to you all before, for me, the only thing that's Star Wars is 2 animated series in Clone Wars, and I forgot the other one. Is it Legends? I forgot what it's called now anyway, but it's the one with Ezra, yeah? That one. Anyway, so you've got those 2 animated series, and you've got George Lucas's 6 movies. That's it. And I know some of you in the comments will go, but what about Rogue One? Rogue One is okay. I'm not saying that it's not. It still doesn't feel like Star Wars. To me, and it's still, it's still trying to milk the cow of the Skywalker saga. So at the end of the day, Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars to me. It's very bad non-fan fiction, because it's not even fan people making this anymore. It's people who probably don't even like Star Wars and don't understand of its popularity. To look at it, it's interesting, isn't it? To look at it and say, oh, and say, wow, this is Star Wars. This is the same thing we grew up with. For me, it's not about nostalgia. It's not about keeping things the same or not being representative and inclusive. It's not about that at all. You can be inclusive and still entertain people. This is a very boring piece of work, and that's the thing. Now, at the end of the episode, there's this big thing, this big reveal, what's supposed to be a big reveal, when Reva, is that her name? I hope it's her name anyway. Reva reveals that Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader are still alive. This is a big shock to Obi-Wan Kenobi. So the whole idea is here that all he's been doing, he's been on Tatooine, he's been in the cave, he's been going to work. They're trying to say that there's no way he would know that Anakin was still alive. So this comes as a big shock. Now, that's a bone of contention to a lot of fans. Why wouldn't he know? Even if he was in that cave when he goes to work, wouldn't have someone told him? Everyone knows about Lord Vader. He knows he's Lord Vader. He's never seen him in the outfit and costume, but he knows he's called Lord Vader. So if someone said, if people were talking about Lord Vader, he'd know he was still alive. So it's a big, big reach. There's another problem here. How does Reva know that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker? And that's an interesting thing. Now, people are calling this a plot hole, but could it be when Anakin Skywalker went in there to kill the children, to kill, the little Jedis, maybe she was one of those little Jedis, but we're talking about 10 years. Is that possible? Unless she's 20? I don't know how old Reva is supposed to be. So maybe there's possibilities here why she knows that Anakin is Darth Vader. Again, you can't judge these things because we've only seen the first 2 episodes. But these are things that people want to pick apart. It's just like people saying that Obi-Wan is a coward. No. So those things that people are picking apart as plot holes, I don't see them as plot holes. Because it makes sense within the story that Obi-Wan is hiding away, that he doesn't want to go. He's too scared to go and rescue Leia. He wants to. He understands his responsibility. And there's a beautiful scene when he tells her, you remind me of someone, and that's great to, to kind of mention Padme again. But ultimately, this is a mixed bag of not very interesting. Normally when you watch a first episode of a mini-series, of a limited series, or just a regular season of your favourite TV show, they put all the effort in to make the first episode so epic and exciting to hook you in. They haven't done that here. So it'll be very interesting what happens. So in the very last scene, you get, Obi-Wan going, oh my God, Anakin. And then you see Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, in his little, he's in the water. He's resting up and you hear the iconic breathing. And I think that's supposed to be Hayden Christensen. I did take a long, deep look at it, even freeze-framed it. It doesn't really look like Hayden, but he's there. Listen, in the marketing, I've been very happy and proud of, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen being back together. Apparently, Ewan insisted that Hayden come back because Hayden really hasn't worked a lot, and it took a toll on him psychologically, what people said about him and things like that. So I'm glad to see him, come back, and he knows now that we love him. There's so many of us who love him, loved his performance as Anakin, and I'm glad he's back. Those things are celebratory, and of course they've used this to suck us in via the marketing. It's easy to call something Kenobi to suck us in, and that's what they've done. And then when you see it, you think, wow. But then you've got critics saying, oh my God, this is amazing. Because they are never honest, because they want to keep their access. So it looks like myself and the critics have seen 2 very different things. I will continue to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi, and hopefully it gets stronger and stronger. But what worries me about the low quality of the choreography and directing so far, and it looks like we're definitely going to get a Vader Obi-Wan saber fight. How are they going to do with that? I really hope they pull it off. But ultimately, I could have lived without this show. I could have lived without Disney Star Wars and stuck to the 2 animated series by Dave Filoni and George Lucas's iconic 6 movies. But we've got a lot of stuff coming. Do I think there's any hope for Star Wars? No, I don't. I don't think the right person is directing the next Star Wars movie. Kathleen Kennedy saying the reason we've gone towards streaming is because of The Mandalorian. Isn't that great? If something makes money, they stick with it. But basically, Star Wars is the father of the cinematic blockbuster. And the betrayal of taking it away from movie theatres because they weren't doing very well and they're creatively bankrupt, and they didn't really want us to see the financials. And you can't see the financials of what a streaming show is doing because it's very complicated to break down. And that's part of the reason that they've done it. But ultimately, Star Wars Disney is a failure, and it continues to be a failure. But I'm someone who likes to see the whole of the circle. So I'll be back to watch the rest of this limited series of Kenobi. At least I can say it's great to have Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's great to see Hayden Christensen back as well. This has been the DCEU Daily with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.